Okay, next is reading news articles on the web. And we'll start with some Japan-focused sites like Japan Today, which has a lot of short articles about Japan and recent news stories. Most of the articles are fairly short. The language is quite tough. It's obviously not adapted for language learning, but if you have the dictionary, you should be able to pick up some good new words. And there's also Mainichi News, which has again short news stories in English with a Japan focus. And in addition, on this website, some of the stories also have the original Japanese text, so you can compare the English version and the Japanese text. Unfortunately, I think you have to register or log in to get that service, but if you register, you should be able to see the Japanese version of the story too, which is obviously good for quickly picking up and checking keywords. Also, the Asian Review has a lot of short articles focused on Asia and in many cases Japan. And here you can read a lot of short articles, especially things like business, some useful vocabulary relating to business English too. And the Japan Times, very similar to Japan Today, for example, different categories you can look at, lots of short articles, and really focused on Japan with some international stories as well. So I think it's kind of easier to read because you're familiar with the background, you're familiar with the stories in many cases. This can help you to understand the context and make it easier to understand. If you're interested in international press, this site called Very Quiet News collects all the top stories from agencies like Reuters, Yahoo, BBC, CNN, these kind of sites where you can find the top international stories. And in addition, you can also do a search. So let's say, for example, you wanted to find out what the international press was writing about Japan. You could search for Japan, and then you can see there's 3 results here. You can look through those and find the stories that are on Japan. Similarly, if you have an interest like soccer or something like that, you could do a search for that and find the stories on soccer or steel or whatever you're interested in, basically. And then the link will take you to that page that contains the story. So those are some news resources for reading in English. And I'm sure you'll find them useful, although you will need your dictionary to be able to make the most of them.